I know this is really going to minimize the Karen Reed trial, but I feel like I've solved the case. Hear me out. On the Free or Justice Karen Reed subreddit, someone actually drove over to 34 Fairview and took a picture of this house. And I want you guys to look at it because I've been looking at this house online and on the trial. And for some reason, when you see this house on TV, it looks so big. And this lawn looks so sprawling. It looks huge. But if you actually look at this picture, and according to the person that drove there and took a picture for themselves, they said it actually isn't that big. It's 20 feet, 20, maybe 30 feet from that street to the door. So like here is the street, like the flagpole is right here, right off the picture. And then there's the door where everyone was coming in and out. So Karen Reed dropped John O'Keefe off right here, and he got out of the door and allegedly, according to what I believe, walked right up the path into the door. Okay, that's not that far. So yes, there's a few different things here. For example, in the morning, how the Alberts, who are right there in that window, didn't wake up and hear all the chaos and the craziness in the morning. That's another story for another day, because obviously they did. But it's more about John O'Keefe being dropped off here. And this thought that I came up with in the morning, it woke me up in the middle of the night because I was like, oh, of course she didn't kill him. Because you guys pay attention to this and think about this. There is no sidewalk. Do you see that? You know, like if you think about where I am walking here on my street, okay, hold on. Here is where I'm walking. As you can see, like right here, there is no sidewalk. But here, there is a sidewalk. But if someone were to drop me off right there and I got out of the car right there, I would have to walk out of the car and walk onto the grass, okay? There is no sidewalk. You get out of the car and you walk directly onto the grass. In order for Karen Reed to hit John with her back tail light, this would have had to have happened. John O'Keefe would have had to get out of the passenger side, which he did. Okay, no one's fighting that. He would have had to get out of the passenger side on the side of the house, and instead of just walking on the grass, as one does, towards the house, he would have had to not go towards the house. He would have had to walk away from the house and go behind her car, which makes no sense. Why would you do that? Why would you walk away from the house that you're going into and walk behind the car? Now, some people are like, oh, because it was snowing and he didn't want to walk on the grass. He wanted to walk towards the front of the house and towards the driveway. But it wasn't really snowing because I paid attention to this meteorologist and I asked this Instagram followers of mine and I said, was it snowing when Karen Reed was dropped off? And they said it was enough to track a cat at 1:30 a.m., meaning it was like 0.5 inches, which is nothing. It was a light dusting of snow. This is a man who was a cop in the Boston area. He was scared to walk over a light dusting of snow. Please. He would have walked right over that grass and walked towards the house. There is absolutely no reason that he would have gotten out of her car and then walked behind her car. It makes no sense. So technically, the only way she could have actually backed up and hit this man is if her car went up on the lawn and reversed onto him so that he got hit onto the lawn. Because if he was standing right here behind this car and this car backed into me, which is what they're saying, how would I get backed into and end up here on the lawn? None of it makes sense. I would end up right here on the street. Right, dogs? You're with me, right? Case closed. Case closed. Higgins and those fools killed him in the basement. Done and done.